Ahoy!
Oh, nice. Today we're talking about the phenomenon known as the Broadway musical
Hamilton. And we're drinking the actual tea. I mean, not the actual tea, but the same company.
Davison Newman and Company Limited.
Whose tea was thrown into the Boston Harbor in 1774.
That's the tea.
Oh my god, this musical.
So, I mean, if you haven't heard it, you've heard of it. Because everyone is talking about it, and we're part of everyone because we love it.
Oh my god.
If you don't know about it, it is the story of the first Secretary of the Treasury, Alexander Hamilton, which, if anybody knows anything about this guy, he died in a duel with Amber.
Because you've seen the Got Milk commercial.
Right.
Incidentally directed by Michael Bay.
No.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
One of the amazing things about the musical that really connects to a place that we are right now in America, and have been several times, is this is a story of an immigrant.
Alexander Hamilton was born in the Caribbean, and he moved to the United States to get an education. A story that happens every day still, because opportunities exist here that don't exist other places.
And because America is a country of immigrants.
People say that, and it's like we've forgotten what that means.
Unless
it means
you
that,
are Native American.
like, we're white people aren't from here
My
originally.
family is, a long time ago, an immigrant family. Like, white people, you are
So,
not the oldest kid on the
Hamilton, it was written and directed and starring as Alexander Hamilton by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is of Puerto Rican extraction.
Mm-hmm.
And
New Yorker.
he made the decision to cast almost no white people. In this story of the founding fathers of America, Thomas Jefferson is played by a black man.
George Washington is regal as fuck, and he's a black man.
And it works. It tells such a profound story.
He recently said, too, that this is not colorblind casting. This is casting for the specific ethnicity.
Yeah, it's important that these people are not white. It's important that George III is white.
Yes, that's really
he's
important.
really the only character that is played by a white actor. That's important. He's the king. He's the most powerful guy in the room.
Yeah. And this is a musical that's saying, America, this is your history. This is a living part of history. These are people that really lived, that really had a lot of sex, that really fought about stupid shit sometimes.
That really had a lot of emotion
Yes.
about what they were doing. And that emotion gets sanitized out of our history books so much because...
Especially when it gets bronzed and codified and kind of glorified as this, like, white power ideal.
It's a really, really important piece of art. It's a really fun piece of art.
Yeah.
And it's changing lives all over the place.
Yeah.
They're making a concerted effort to get children, school-age children, in to see it because it's such an educational moment.
Which is not dissimilar from Ava DuVernay's movement. She did so much to get high school-age students in to see Selma, to see a part of history from a black perspective, not from this, like, white, this is what we're allowing you to see.
One of the themes that draws throughout Hamilton is the idea of what you're allowed to see when it comes to history. Who tells your story is as important as what your story is.
For Eliza Hamilton, it is the text that she is erasing or coming back to the narrative. She's putting herself back in the narrative of history.
So good to give her that agency, right? Because history books behave as if what we don't know doesn't exist.
As though they're completely objective, as though history could be objective, when it's really cobbled together from these primary sources that are personal letters or documents or sometimes pieces of art.
That have their own bias.
Yeah.
And then when it's a secondary source, there's another level of bias added, and every time it's put through a filter of someone else,
we can't
get
pretend
new
that
bias.
there's not a filter there. We can't pretend that it's just like, oh, this is objectively what happened. We can respond to it with numbers like the room where it happens.
Yes.
Where there's no documentation of what happened in that room.
Like that.
And it's so catchy.
So many rooms throughout history have been secret like that, and to remember that what we know of them comes from outside the room. When you think about it, we're never gonna have a history that exists like that ever again, because the internet is forever
Yeah.
and everything's on the internet now.
We still have the George Orwell 1984 concept of that the future, the terrible future, is not that we suddenly don't have any information. It's that we're so inundated with information that you can't parse. 'Cause how could they
possibly weed through it all? It's true. It's true. If you don't have anyone saying this is important, this is important, this isn't important, then you really don't have.
It's still a wash. It's still, you could be lost to history.
So, Hamilton characters, read a supply with an army.
God. I mean, Angelica gets an army.
Yeah. Oh, blessed Angelica. I mean, who hasn't lived in her shoes? Let's be real. Like, unrequited love is sort of the
like, oh no, I fucked up. I would elect Eliza. I want her to be in charge of some shit.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments in that show is the sort of like, and here's what happened to Eliza Hamilton afterwards. And I'm just like crying hysterically in my car. And
it is such a hard.
You're never so beautiful. You're so amazing and so strong. And I love you.
Yeah. I mean, like, let's just keep it with the Schuyler sisters and let's read Peggy.
All right, Peggy. Okay. Bring yourself to the narrative. What's going on?
Oh, I know what it was. Okay. So during the war, her father, General Schuyler, was a general in the army, and their house was targeted by the British. They said, "Where's your dad?" And she said, "He's off to get help." And that scared them so much that they left Peggy and Peggy.